Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me as co-host, Jason Juggling J. Ford. And we want to introduce members of the Bermuda Football Association Women's Committee in Vinzi Zul, Coach Keita Robinson, and Leslie Cherry White. But first of all, Jay, tonight we're going to learn a little bit more about the women's, rebirth of women's structured league in Bermuda. It's been some time. We've talked about, how well internationally we've been doing without a league, and here's an opportunity for these young ladies to get back into playing regular football on local soil in organized football. And I know that's something that Coach Keita up there has been hoping, wishing, and praying for, because obviously you want to give young ladies some incentive and give them something to play for, not just train. So I guess having matches scheduled by clubs, by the association, whichever way this is going to work out, we're going to find out more tonight. But by having this, I think it's a step in the right direction. Your thoughts?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's been amazing, and we've spoken many times. It's been amazing how well the ladies have done internationally in the tournaments, not having played an 11-side, league for years, and how well they've done. They've been playing futsal. I know Vinzi is very close to her with the futsal, keeping that up, but also just that competition, and to see how well they've come over the last 4 or 5 years with the lack of the 11-side game. It'd be interesting now. Number one, a few questions that I've got, because, like I said, this is a rebirth. So hopefully we've learned some lessons of why it wasn't sustained prior, and what are some of the things that we could take what we did before and improve on. But there's some questions we'll ask later on throughout the show.
Sure. First thing, what we want to do is go back. Before we can figure out where we're going, we have to remember where we came from. And the three ladies that are joining us right now played during the back days. So let's talk a little bit about those days, the teams, the friendships that were built, although some of you were not on the same teams, but just how things developed. So Leslie, let's talk a little bit about the yesteryear of the game and why you thought it was important to be involved in the sport of football.
All started again.
What's that?
Yeah, no, it's just I didn't have the access to football coming up like Bermuda does today, which is great. I learned to play with the neighborhood boys, primary school, sometimes at lunchtime, work academy at lunchtime. And then when Alicia Zul wanted to get the football game going again, it was just it was a no-brainer to jump on it and see what we could do, because I didn't really play football until university.
Mm-hmm. And what about, well, obviously, Coach Keita, you dominated the girls scoring department for many years. For you, growing up in a household of North Village, running with the boys, and then here comes a women's league. Here's something that you can actually be involved in competitively and so forth. So getting involved in the women's league back in the day, how much of an interest was it for you?
Well, I obviously grew up playing what was known as mini minors and then minors with North Village with the boys, obviously. And then I stopped playing football and I went to play netball. And then the women's league actually started when I was 14. So I was pulled off the netball court by Paulus at that time until I was going to go to football training at Whitney. And at that time, when we started, we were Whitney Bulls, and we moved to Rue Girls, and then ended up being Lady Cougars. But it was such an exciting thing because, again, as Leslie said, my football was around the neighborhood, or when I went to my grandmother's house and played with my cousins and my brother. But back then, the interest, there were girls out there playing that. We didn't even know we were playing football. And when the league started, it just generated interest. And a lot of individuals got opportunities. I know for a fact I got an opportunity thanks to Mrs. White there, because she had an invitational, and a lot of people probably don't remember that. It was Connecticut College, Messiah College, and don't tell me.
You
Blue
can
and
tell.
Orange College.
I can't remember.
Gettysburg College. And Messiah and Gettysburg both threw my name in their hat. I eventually decided on going to Messiah, and unfortunately, the 4 years I played at Messiah, Gettysburg beat us. Oh, actually, Gettysburg beat us 3 years. My senior year, we finally beat them. But it was that opportunity, that helped me get off the island and actually continue to do what I love to do. And I'm sure that this what this league, and we'll get into this later on, what this league is going to also do for some persons out there that we don't even know. I don't even know that play football in Bermuda, as a national coach. So that's a great part about this new women's league, or this rebirth, because there are going to be people that get opportunities now, to be seen.
And Vinzi, for you, let me ask you, back in the day, the women's game, when it did emerge, there was some exciting times. So how did that actually get you going?
Yeah, so I played a lot with the boys around the neighborhood at school. I went to Elliott. So the natural progression was that I played for Wolves. And we had a good time for Wolves. We had a lot of friends from school, and we just kept going. And it was great playing against the Denny Tons, the Root Girls. We wasn't we were progressively getting better. So that's was the joy in it. The last year I played for Wolves, we all decided to get super fit. So in getting super fit, I actually ran away to a tournament. I didn't want to go, but my cousin dragged me. That you're not doing nothing. And because I was super fit, I ended up getting a scholarship. So the Wolves helped me with that, in regards to getting fit and getting in shape for that. And then I got a scholarship to St. Francis University. And then I left, and then when I came back, because the league was still going on, so I did the 4 years, came back, and then I went to Lady Cougars. It was rebranded to Lady Cougars. So went to Lady Cougars. I think I played with Keela for a year or two. And then, I stayed there until the end. So it was a good time.
Jay, any back questions?
Yeah, I don't know if Keita remembers, because I don't know if she had made it there yet. But in the early 90s, a good bit of Bermudians were in school in Atlanta, especially around the AU Center, rather Spelman, Clark University, or Morris Brown. And then also a lot of ladies were over in Alabama. So some Sundays, they would actually have these women matches that had the likes of Siobhan Furman, Sakina Clark, Shalito, a lot of those girls who were actually quite successful playing for the Rude Girls, but they were up against a little tougher competition. Obviously, these ladies are a lot bigger, they're a lot stronger, they're a lot faster, and it was amazing to see where all of a sudden coming from an island where they were, let's say, the queens of the pitch, but now they had to fight and scrap for everything, and you got to see the true gamesmanship and the true competitive out of all of them. So I know when they came back, even though I didn't come back during those times, when they came back, I knew there was so much more they had to give to the league at the time, because they had fought against so much harder competition. And things like that, like I said, Keita, the opportunity when these girls are away playing, whether it was recreation or playing for the schools, it does so much, it builds so much better for the local game and the local leagues itself.
Well, Jay, all three have become kind of administrators. Even coaches are administrators of the game. So going from player to administrator, staying involved in the game, now giving back the opportunity that you once had of a player, and even if you're guiding young ladies, or even in the sense, because we're not just with young ladies, but guiding young people to education through sport. Leslie, what does that mean for you? Just being in a position to offer that progression to somebody, at a time where it wasn't always available for you.
I think it's great. My return to football, I guess, is quite recent. Being on the women's league, the women's committee, sorry. I just joined about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I've been involved in coaching at Saltus, the middle school girls team. Always threatened Keita that I might come out again one day and help her, but with all the other things going on, I just wanted to give back somehow, and this was the way in to try and give back. And I just think what the women's committee is doing, what Keita's doing with football, and Vinzi's doing with futsal, it's just amazing the opportunities we have. And going to all of these league games as a match commissioner or COVID officer and watching these girls play. And I was watching the under 11s and under 13s, and just the caliber of play and what these guys are doing with these players is just amazing to see how young. I mean, just the other day I wasn't scouting for Keita, but I was watching the game and I'm like, have you seen this girl play? Have you seen this girl play? And I think right now they're probably too young, but I think it's amazing what's happening, and it's going to really be exciting to see the 11-a-side and the women come back out again.
Mm. And Coach Keita, even though you're still an active coach in the academy and doing other things, still on the administration side and giving the opportunities for our young ladies to naturally progress. What does that personally mean for you in the position that you currently hold?
Yeah, when I took this job, though, I always said I didn't take it to win a World Cup. That would be the cherry on top, right? But I always took this job so that players can get more opportunities than I got. And it's no fault of anyone. We were just in a different space when I was a player than we are now. We just didn't have access to the things that we have access to now. So, in my capacity, that is the main thing for my capacity. Now we have players in our national team that's playing semi-pro. When I was playing, when we were playing, truth be told, that wasn't an option. That wasn't where we were heading. We were heading to go to college, but now players see that there's a pathway, that there's more opportunities by playing the game. And I have to give props to the coaches in the girls league. Coaches are now, they're working hard. Coaches are getting their licenses. Coaches are taking the time out now to give back. Even, some of my current national team players are coaching. So, that's the part that I love about it, is just to see the turnover. Not going to be doing this forever. And I just can't wait to see, more females in the National Academy side, especially with the girls. So that is the main reason. Sorry, guys. Yes. That has got it. So, at the end of the day, that is the most satisfying thing for me when I hear another player's going off to college, or, I just got a message from a parent 2 nights ago of one of my under 17 players who has been accepted to 3 boarding schools. Like, that's the stuff that really excites me. 1, because they're going to get the opportunity to be playing, but 2, because now they're going to be playing and training way more than we can train them here as an amateur country. And so now I win her, because now when they come back, and I was joking with one of my senior players the other day. I said, I can't wait where I have just training camps, where I don't see any of you in Bermuda, and I just have training camps and we pull it all together like the teams I'm competing against, right? And so that's the exciting thing for me. Just seeing these young ladies get these opportunities, and getting the phone calls from overseas, and I've heard about this player, and can you give me some information on this player? And that happens I almost weekly now. Definitely every month I'm getting a call, but that is my most satisfying thing about being in my position.
Mm. And Vinzi, one of the things that we all have known about, heard about, and discovered is that Brazil used futsal as a development tool for their to get to where they are, being a major threat across the world. And you're administering futsal in Bermuda from a young age. So seeing these young people start off with learning that skill level at futsal and then progressing to the outdoor game, for your satisfaction, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, so actually it's the 10th year since I started the futsal program. So it's really exciting this year and the years before, just to see the players that started with us 10 years ago, what they're doing now. We're still playing futsal. A lot of people said this ain't gonna last. you know, people are going to buy into futsal. We're still going. The players are benefiting, and I'm really seeing because at first when you start, you just don't know. You're doing it. You preach, the small-sided games, the skills, etc. But to actually see that development in players now, it's really good. And the girls did do the futsal league, and most of the girls are still playing. So that's encouraging to see. I didn't administer the futsal league itself. That was Futsal Federation, but I was a big part of it, making sure we entered, make sure we supported it anyway. But yeah, it's really good to see futsal now and the players that have done it succeeded, whether in school, whether in clubs, the national program, everywhere. They did futsal. And you can see
Earl, if I can jump in on that. I wanted to be publicly known that I'm watching closely. I watch all events and statuses. I got co-workers who have the little girls playing over there now. I'm excited about this new pink uniform. It's very nice.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you know publicly. I will take them. I will take them. When they get of age, I will be. I'm scouting now. Yeah, they're 4 and 5 years old. Don't worry, I have the names. I'll go to MSA, so I'm gonna let you know that I publicly let you know that I am excited about that because, as Earl mentioned, you think about, and this is obviously at the high end, the Messi and the Ronaldos. A lot of people don't know up until like age 13, 14. That's what they done. We see them on the field now in 11v11 outside game and think, oh, their skills, this and the other. Besides their extreme aggressive training cycle. Futsal was the beginning for most of them, and I want players to understand that has to be a part of our process.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Sharice Bean and Shaquita Parsons to now talk about where we go from here, moving the women's game forward. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
This month, John Barrett & Son bring us a premium thirst quencher from North Carolina, the Blue Ultra Purified Water. Many other bottled waters use reverse osmosis to reach an acceptable level of purity. The Blue uses a 5-step purification process, which includes fractional vapor compression, distillation, and ozonation, assuring purity and a unique, appealing flavor. Consumer testimony repeatedly praises the taste of the Blue compared to the other brands, and this, along with superior purity, makes the Blue a must-try. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful. My greatest value of my life is my legacy.
Why are you doing it? I feel supposed to. I was put here to be here to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy. There's a little person leading.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust. For me to empower them, from my players, to my family, to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. As I indicated, we would be joined by Shaquita Parsons and Sharice Bean. Names are opposite the way they have them written, but anyway. Welcome, ladies.
Tell them switch. Switch places.
There you go.
Yes. You might direct the wrong person to the wrong person, Earl.
Nice.
Hi,
Welcome,
guys.
ladies. Well, we went back to where we came from as far as the ladies game. Now we're getting ready to move forward to what you guys have been working towards in getting this women's league back up and running. From the administration side, I know both of you are members, Shaquita and Sharice, you're members of the executive committee of the Bermuda Football Association, but also on this women's committee to rejuvenate the women's side of football. But from the administration side, let's just get a little bit about the administration side and why is it so important for the association to have a women's league started back up.
So what from my perspective and from the committee's perspective is very important because we have to show the young ladies where the progression goes. When we had a symposium a few years ago, it was funny. We had Danny Watson say to one of the older players there, "I didn't even know you played football." They just thought that the person hung around football. They had no clue that there actually was a league. So we have to show them that yes, there is a progression. There is something to strive for after you finish school or after you finish high school. There's a possibility to play football and still be a woman and be a mother or be a business person or be whatever you want to be. So we have to show them that part of it.
Sure. Jay?
Yeah, so just before you guys came on, I mentioned about some of the downfalls of the previous league. What went wrong? Because obviously, for us to go on, we need to know what went wrong so we don't repeat those same mistakes. Can you identify a few things, or if anything, that you guys, any one of you guys, feel that might have been the demise of the previous league, and what we're going to do different this league?
I would speak to the sustainability. Most of us started when we were in high school, and we just had the women's league running, but there was no plan in place to have youth football for women for young girls to grow into the women's game. So I would say sustainability would be a big piece that was missing when we were playing. So people were just entering at the age of 15. I think that's when they were allowed to enter into the women's league. If girls wanted to play, they was probably with the boys, but not enough. And also we wasn't out there enough to go ahead and promote women's football as well to be put out like that. Some would say teams are better than others, and they don't want to play against teams because of how much they were getting beaten by or whatnot. But they also have to understand these teams have sustainability within their teams, meaning teams stuck together, you have more unity. So if I was committed to Red Girls, I wasn't going anywhere because we were losing. We stuck to it, and I think that's what we do as women. We stick to that commitment more than demand, but we didn't have the sustainability of a youth program to build into our women's program.
So just hearing that, is that where we're starting? We're making sure that there's a feeder system into the newly formed league.
Yeah, so strategically, it wasn't just like you said. It wasn't just let's just have women's football this year. It had to be strategically thought out. Like I said, with Vance, Brown was very integral, saying to us, "Let's bring all the girls together. Let's bring them all together with our clubs first. Let's just have all of them come together. Nikita will come out and help." We had David Bascom come down and train, and Vinzi. We had a bunch of coaches that came and helped out that first year where we just had open girls football. And then we built a program with just a BFA Football Association program. And then when we felt that we had the numbers and we had the coaches enough for different clubs, we said, okay, clubs, we have teams for you. So we built a program and then told the clubs to come on board. From there, each year we added, so we didn't try to go big the first year. We had under 9s, under 11s. We didn't even have the under 7s, I don't think, at that time. And then the next year we decided we'll add on the 7s, and then we'll add on an older age group. So each year we added on the age group until now we're up to under 17s. The next progressional step is to go to women's.
And from a coaching standpoint, Coach Kita, number-wise, obviously you've seen the growth because of the opportunities that are now available for young ladies to play the game. Is that encouraging for you to see, knowing your background?
Yeah, absolutely. But to piggyback on Jason's question, I think what's different this time around is that there are a lot of coaches that have bought into girls football. So in the past, what happened, part of the downfall was that you had a person in a club who was interested in girls football, and when that person could no longer do it, or didn't want to, then that team kind of fell off, and then we found less and less people available. So that's the good part. That's what I enjoy about this time around, is that there are so many female coaches or coaches that are coaching female teams or girls teams that are gonna stay around, that's gonna hang around, that's gonna help with the sustainable part. So as a coach, that's great for us as a coaching team, because we know that the teams are going to survive, and so we will continue to have that feeder system, and know that this time around it's being done correctly. There is a plan in place. There's a strategic plan in place, and we're following it along.
Just on top of that, Jay, just before I let you ask the next question, will the same criteria that we have in men and youth football, would that apply for the women as well? Coaches need to have coaching badges, and at what levels starting out?
Okay, so yes, we would like to get to that part. Currently, we're working with the TDD Maurice Lowe to develop. He's putting together a Bermuda D license, and that will be the initial, I guess, license that we would like for all of the girls and women's coaches to have. We don't want to scare people away. So we will work with teams, we will work with coaches, and we will help them in any way that we can. When they needed equipment, we were able to offer equipment. And the first started, it was jerseys. And so, so it's just like I said, a natural progression. Yes, we're going to have the certification of coaches. We are not going to be iron fist, but we want to give a hand up and help them, to get to where they can be. And it's for the betterment of themselves and for their players.
And Lindsay, for you, with the background that you have, and you did have, or you do have, a lot of females playing futsal, so that transition and getting them, especially that age group, how do you plan to work that?
Yeah, so just into futsal and the age group and the girls, I know most of them, so it's easy to communicate, talk, get the buy-in in regards to the women's league. I guess it just comes down to being around them and knowing that if there's a women's league and support, the women's committee supported, that they're going to play and get involved in the league and their teams. So, yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, so guys, just looking on the outside, I've seen great stuff from the Referees Association doing with bringing young players in, not only males, but also females in as officials, since now we do have a female on the FIFA list. There's some pathways in this new women's league for young females to be officials also?
Yes, definitely. Sharice works closely with Cranston, who's the referee chair. We encourage persons. We've had some of the National Academy girls refereeing in the leagues. When we didn't have that age group playing, they were supporting. And we also have been talking not just about refereeing, but also other administrative roles that you can lead into through football, because most people just see the play aspect, you as a player, but there's many avenues that people could go, or women could go in football, and that's something that FIFA and CONCACAF have also been pushing as well. So associations are encouraged to have separate women leagues on their own, the refereeing, building those up, and they give great support around that, and the association does as well.
Sure. Well, we're going to take another commercial break, but when we come back, Leslie, I want you to answer the question about the fact that now we're going back to clubs, having teams put in the league, that transition of going from where Sharice had said that the association collectively getting them, now they're going back to clubs, and what it meant for you to represent the club you represented when you was a player. We'll be right back.
The history of everyday use of spices extends back thousands of years into antiquity. Since 1976, the Frontier Natural Foods Co-op has been bringing a wide range of exciting and authentic flavors to the table. A comprehensive range of ancient traditional herbs and spices produced organically and sustainably. The results are good news for the environment and more robust, fragrant essential oils in these natural seasonings. This month, we're featuring Frontier Natural Products, at least 95% organic salt-free lemon pepper. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. As I mentioned before going to the break, Leslie, just talk about that pride, that representing the club in which you choose to represent.
No, I think it's awesome. When I first started in the late '80s, I'm not sure if Vinzi was born yet, but we actually played. No, I beg to differ. We played for, the team I played for was Telecom, which was actually started by Charlie Marshall. So we weren't even under the auspices of a club. And then the BFA kind of made it mandatory that the women's teams all had to be under a club for various reasons. So to belong to a club now, and the way these clubs are taking in the girls, right from, like Cherie said, the under sevens, I think it's amazing. And growing up, I mean, I lived in Somerset, so I went and watched the Trojans play. Not a lot, but the Trojans, the Somerset teams were your teams. But I never really belonged to a club, so to speak. And after Telecom, we went to BAA because we had to come under the club. But I just think it's nice now to have these girls have the clubs available to them and actually to belong, and then maybe belong for years and years coming up through the system.
Jay? You're muted. You muted yourself.
That sounds better, doesn't it?
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So, guys, I always like to ask people, because a lot of times as Bermudians, we never tell our own story. We expect these young folks to automatically know what we did. So give us, each one of you guys, any special games did you guys play it against each other or play with each other? Any special moments you guys had on the field as a player?
My favorite moment is Parson. Parson gave a bad ball and giggle. And she laughed. But what angry? It's just legit laughing. Like, get over it.
Just like no.
I mean, I've had a lot of good moments, but it's one I just can't forget. I mean, as you're playing center back, as you giving the ball and giggling, that for me that was a special moment. But obviously, I played with three of 3 of the 4 ladies and against one. So it's so many memories. I mean, we had some really good times at Lady Cougars. We used to play at PAC. We used to meet up at Parsons' house, and have team meetings and have something to eat. Her mom took good care of us before we went off the hill and put some licks in somebody. I don't never remember who we played, but those were some of the best times. These are some of my best friends. Both of them go parents to my son, but it was those friendships and we had a lot of success, but we took a lot of licks too. People don't know that. People think that we were just always on top. When we used to get younger players into the team, they just were so used to us winning, they didn't realize the work that we had put in. We took licks from Telecom. Yeah, and yes, Leslie, we were the first team to beat you. We're the first team to beat you in the first ever Women's FA Cup up at National Stadium with no fans. And Kenton Jennings and Kevin Bailey were our coaches, and we wore orange and blue. And we beat you 5-2, and I scored a hat trick. Past you, Leslie. But it's those memories, right? And there's things they never leave you. They never leave you. But yeah, Parsley giggling. He still giggles, but that giggling was the funniest. And man, Sakina Clark, you imagine giving a bad ball, you're playing next to Sakina Clark, and you giggle. It wasn't pretty, but it didn't bother her. But it's great, right? I mean, we were always in control of the match anyway, so it didn't matter. But that's my memories.
And I knew you was gonna say that off the bat. But why be mad? Why be mad? It was, let's go pick it up and move on. But one of my memories, fondest memories, was FA Cup. I don't recall who we were playing, and I was playing last man. I had what they call compartment syndrome. I found out afterwards, but I couldn't even kick the ball out the 6-yard box and end up going in the ambulance from the match. But in a no-wake zone at the hospital, here comes my team medicating, and the security is coming into my room asking me to call outside to tell them be quiet. But they insisted on waiting for me to get discharged before we started to go medicate, because they won that final FA Cup on my behalf. So that's the camaraderie we had. We had many nights of the Earl Devonshire Academy together. We learned how to play bass cards. We was probably the best card players too. We played euchre, dirty hearts, all of rummy, all of that. Having pizza, lights turned on so we can train. I wouldn't say how the lights got turned on, but the lights were turned on up there so we can train. And we just Fridays to Sundays and training nights, we were always together, together as a team. And I think that's what we valued a lot. And we were family for a lot of some of the girls as well. We were family for those that may not have had that support that some of us had as well.
So you know how you see, like you see PAC nowadays, they come in and do a ride and go together. That was Root Girls. Root Girls left together. We went to the field together. We went out afterwards together. So everything was done together. It was a family. And that's one thing that, you say, what was the best thing about football back then was that we were a family. They held you up when you need to be held up. They held you accountable when you need to be accountable. And if you had to be super subbed, like Coach, I think Corliss used to like to do, he'll super sub you off the field, and so we had fun times. We heard all the people shouting, especially out the rack when we first got there, girls shouldn't play football. It was crazy, but it was nice to see that afterwards we were bringing in more money than the boys team. More fans were coming out to our games on a Friday night than they were to the men's team. So, yeah.
Definitely more choices.
Yes.
Even till today.
I just want to say it's sort of, I have lots of memories as well. And not even seeing these guys like Sharice and Shakrita for years, saw them around, but just the friendships you build up off the field. And then with Kita, it's gone on for years and years, even though the three of us were opponents. And then the one trip I remember, the only trip, We were called All Stars. They wouldn't give us the national name, but we went to Atlanta, and that was just an amazing trip. And I just think the memories and the camaraderie that was formed back then. But it's not even a memory; it's over time. And Nikita did say it. It was the sort of telecom when we started, where top they weren't losing many games, well, they weren't losing any games to start with, and just to see the whole thing shift was just amazing. And just the caliber of football that even in that time, in that short period, just changed. And it was pretty amazing to play and just to watch that, because I was on the team when we started, and then I was on the team when we actually lost quite badly in the last year that I played. And it was just that whole shift, but more and more people were involved, so it was nice.
Lindsay?
Yeah, I had a blast with Wolves. I had a blast with Lady Cougars. Just the camaraderie and the friendships, etc. I think my fondest memory was, I think it was FA Cup. I think it was Lady Cougars. I think we played Village, your team, Kita, down St. George's. I'm not sure what the cup game was, but when I played, during my playing career, I played all positions. I played down the back, defensive mid, wing, up top. So at that game, I found myself up top. And I was really, really tired, but I scored a goal. I think we were losing 2-0. I scored a goal and was about to celebrate. And the guys on the side are like, "You're losing. Get the ball off the goal." So I couldn't even celebrate. Came back, we lost. And at that time, we was not devastated, but we wasn't like happy. And we really wanted to win that game. But then something happened after that. Is that clip of me scoring was on ZBM News, the clip for 5 years after that. So every time I came back, I just saw that game, turned the TV on, just saw that game, that game. So it ended up being my fondest memory because nobody knew that we lost, but they saw me score.
Yeah. As long as you show the glory highlight, nobody knows the result. Yeah.
I need to add something to Kita playing down the back. Couldn't let her turn on her left foot. And then Shaquita, like lightning. I just remember always out of the corner of my eye, just her just running down the wing, like fast. So those are two.
Yeah. Lady Cougars recruited some track athletes. That's what they do nowadays. They recruit the track athletes. There's ones that run straight. They can't run around the corner. They can run straight.
As long as they giggle, they're all right.
Listen, you gotta understand, when Jerry Swan was sending us for runs, he was getting past the football field, so he had to join in. He used to send us for runs, we used to end up watching some football.
Okay. All right. But now that you guys have this committee, Cherise, and you're looking forward to just helping the game grow amongst females, how important is it that you as the administrators stay focused on making sure that the opportunities remain just that, opportunities for these young ladies to play on a regular basis, be accepted at these clubs, and just be available to have a game, officials wise, all the things that take for a men's game to get up and running, for to make sure that these women have the same opportunities.
Yeah, it's very important. I do a lot of sitting at tables with the man in the association, a lot of sitting and talking with CONCACAF and CFU about how across the region we can increase. But it's very important that, we do have the referees. We do have, so we're going to start this women's league. And, I put out there tonight, because we just came from an executive meeting, to Cranston, would love to keep your referees fit for the summer by having them participate in the women's league, because, everyone wants a break. But, I also was saying, wow, to think now we're going to have women's football all year round, because we're, the girls' football is ending, but we're starting right away with the women's. We want to encourage more girls to do refereeing. So we put in some money and support behind that. So it's important that we have the equity and not always equality, because equity at least gets us to a point where we were at an even stance. And so important, keep talking about it, keep reminding the the executive, don't forget about the women. the women need this. Simple things like the cut of the uniforms for the national team. The girls were saying, these shorts are too big. They're the boys' shorts. So what we have now, we have women's cuts, and they love them. Sometimes I don't like them, but we love them. They love the fit. They love how they are. They don't have to worry too much about, a shirt that's hanging way down below their knees and things like that. So, those small things help in all ways.
But we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, Jay, you're up. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Most of us identify pasta with the joys of Italian food, the most popular cuisine on the planet. After all, pasta is the staple food of Italy, where hundreds of varieties are enjoyed daily. While traveling in the Far East, the founder of the Explore Cuisine company was surprised and impressed by the variety of exotic pastas he found, sampled, and enjoyed there, and resolved to bring this knowledge back to enrich the cuisine of the West. This month, we're featuring delicious Explore Cuisine organic mung bean fettuccine and black bean spaghetti. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back, Jay.
All right, guys. So let's talk a little bit more about the actual league itself. How many teams have been committed to enter this league? Also, how long will the league be? And any special matches like all-star matches or something like that along with this league?
Yeah, so I could speak to that. So we're hoping for 6 teams, 6 or 7, hopefully. The league should be from May to July. And 11-a-side, we're looking to have an 11-a-side like it was before, but we will make that adjustment if needed once the teams finish registering. The deadline for registration is March 31st. So we have a little bit of time for teams to come in and register. So we're hoping for 6. If we get more, that's going to be a plus. And it should be Friday evenings and Saturdays. The structure will be a league and then an end of season tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
What about venues or venue?
So yeah, Teresa, I don't know if you want to speak to that, but I think it's BFA Field and we're looking at other venues.
So yeah, we definitely have BFA, Clyde Best Center of Excellence, and we do have offered to be at another field. We're just working out the logistics right now if we want to use that field or not, depending on the amount of teams. So we can have Friday night lights and then possibly a game on the Saturday. That's what we'll do. But yeah, so right now we have Clyde Best Center of Excellence, and we do have an option of another field.
Mm. And obviously, most importantly, is the times of games. I know you haven't really mapped out because you're still waiting to find out how many teams we got. But throw in the fact that we would have 6 teams. What would the times be for matches?
So we're looking at like a Friday evening, like at 7 or 9, or maybe 6:30 and 8 possibly, and then a Saturday afternoon one game. We know that we don't want to interfere with cricket. You know, I mean, we know that 2 weeks before cup match and 2 weeks after cup match is Eastern Connie. So we know all of those things. So we're factoring all that in. Because
you know when Cleveland got to play. You know when Cleveland's got to play.
This is a football conversation.
Hey, Clark, you know when Bay is going to play, right? Anthony Davis up in the corner,
Hey, Reese is a Cleveland fan.
I'm talking about June.
Oh, I don't watch cricket.
Yeah, so
my people play for some Davis. I can have some for cricket.
Right, you said so. Definitely Friday nights is going to be the first key part of it. Saturday and afternoon, like I said, and that's what it will be. So if we do 3 matches a weekend, that'll be good for us. If we have to throw in, and depends. If the women throw in and say they wouldn't mind doing a Tuesday night match, then possibly have it on Tuesday instead of a Saturday. We're going to work with the women. We don't want to work against them. We want it to be successful. So once we do get the numbers in and see how many teams we have, if it's something of, a Saturday may be hard because of my children and different things like that, things going on, then maybe we do have a Tuesday one night game or something like that. Yeah.
And what age group are you looking to start at? I mean, because you got to have a start age as opposed to
end age.
I didn't say that. I didn't.
No, we said as long as you're turning 16 within this year. So as long as they're turning 16 within this year, they will be fine.
Are there provisions in the event that a team wants to get in, they only have X amount of players, and there's a possibility they could use some younger players in the team? Are you willing to kind of bend, or are you hoping that people from other teams that, obviously a team that couldn't get together will be available?
Well, we're going to definitely have a cap on the amount of players per team. We're not going to have it open that you can have 40 players. So we're trying to ensure that each team has, the appropriate number of players on it. Provisions will come if someone requests. We do have the player development committee that can assess things like that at BFA, because we want to make sure that the players' development is not hindered in any way. Sometimes yes, you will have a younger player that can seem to play at a level that's higher than what they are, but we don't want them also to get injured or to get hurt in a way, or to we're playing against women, and and I don't want the women to have to worry too much that it's an 11-year-old in the field. You know what I mean? So that's why when we said, turning 16 is the age that we want to stick at this point. We'll take it under consideration with the player development committee if we do have a request from a team for a younger age.
Okay, good. Jay?
Because we have a league for the younger ones right now, So.
Reese, just to clarify, is turning 16 within this year or turning 16 within the league time?
Within this year.
Within this year, okay.
Within this year. Mm-hmm.
Hey, we just about make it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture you wearing their shorts, Earl. That's not a good look.
No. She said they still have boy shorts, but we'll do it.
That's the type of shorts you wore back in the 60s, Earl.
No, why you gotta throw boulders? Ask a question, man. Move on.
Actually, guys, I didn't have no more questions for you guys. I just want to say thank all of you guys for sticking at this sport, because what I've heard tonight is not only the friendships and camaraderie of what you guys are so passionate about the sport itself, and coming through these last 2 years of how much we've had these conversations where we need sports, and how much Earl have been banging his drum, how much sports means to a lot of folks. You was talking about family. These are families that, like you said, sometimes there's more of a family structure in these teams than actual home. So I just want to thank you guys. I wish you guys all the best, and I look forward to seeing a few games, just a few, because I've got a long Saturday and a lot of those weekends.
Yeah. Well, I do have one final question that's for each and every one of you. Your personal feelings. Making this work over a long period of time, what would it mean to you personally for this women's game to actually be successful? And actually, I'm going to start with you, Vinci.
Okay, yeah. To me, um, it would mean a lot, I guess. Because just playing in the women's league and seeing where we were before, getting back that glory days for the younger players to enjoy it, would mean a lot just to see them enjoying it like how we was enjoying it. I mean, that alone and getting opportunities from playing in the league, getting competitive matches from playing the league that would take them to their schools, their clubs, etc. I got opportunity. We could pass that torch to others to get opportunities from playing football here. So it would really mean a lot in regards to the progression of women, progression of women's football, and just to um, get a good structure and a great atmosphere that you could come out and enjoy these players that are coming back from away after they've got their opportunities, and we can actually see them play locally and have fun. So yeah, it would mean a great deal.
Sure. Coach Keita?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, in my capacity to have this to be sustainable and go last a long time, it bodes well for the National Academy. My fear is that we're going to be victims of our own success, in that more of our girls are going to go overseas to boarding schools, and so right now is making sure we have the numbers. And when you look at the numbers that we have at the 7s, the 9s, the 11s, and the 13s, right now it looks really, really good. But like I said, the coaches that are out there right now are really passionate about the development of these young ladies. So we are definitely going to end up being victims of our own success. So my only fear is that we will lose players, and that will be the only reason why the sustainability isn't there, which isn't a bad thing. Definitely not for the national program, but to sustain the league, I think that is the only concern I have. But I have faith that we're gonna keep growing those numbers at the bottom of the pyramid. So yeah, this one's gonna work. I have total faith in the committee and everybody that's putting their work in to make this a success.
Sure. Leslie?
No, I think it's exciting if, to sustain it, and just giving the girls the opportunities to, first of all, go away. Like Keita says, teaching at Soltis, we do see quite a few of the students do go, and we had a mad exodus actually last year. So you're happy for them, but then it's like, oh shucks, they've gone. But we give opportunities for them to go to universities, and then like Vinzi tapped on, when they come back, they'll have something to look forward to come back and actually play in the women's league. And, like I said, I'm very new at this women's committee, but the ladies that I sit with and Sharice is our leader and Keita is our coach. I think there's a lot of good things to come.
Okay. Sharice?
For me, it would be incredible to see the sustainability of it, because I remember when we go away sometimes to the national teams, we sometimes are, train at local grounds, and you have the little girls coming over and they want to take pictures of our players and with our girls and our women. And, what I want to see is that they can do that here. So on a Saturday or a Friday night when they come here, can I take a picture with you? With the women here that play football, they see them. We actually started thinking about different campaigns that we're going to do around marketing and showing that, you have people that are permanent secretaries that were football players. You have people that are directors of departments that are football players, that were football players, and nobody knows about it. You had one child who said to her mother, "You played football? This is at a game, so we want to see this, and we want people to start to know that, yeah, there's a history of football here. Because sometimes they look at us and they just think that we're just been around here, being administrators the whole time. But then when they see pictures of us, they're like, wow, you guys actually play football, type of thing. So we definitely are excited to have it happen, to keep it going. Like Keita said, be victims of our own success. But we strategically made sure that it's in May. The reason why it's in May is because our students will come back from school and have a chance to showcase themselves. If we try to do this during another time of the year, it'll be a little bit harder with numbers. We don't want to compete against netball. We want to work with them, So we understand that there are other sports in the island that women like to play. But we want to make sure that the time frame, hopefully this time frame works, and then we have smaller tournaments during the Christmas breaks and things like that to keep it going. So it's not going to just end here in July, but during the Christmas time and they come back again, we'll have a tournament and things like that.
Giggles?
Well, that's what I was going to say. No, but seriously, I just think personally, each and every one of us here on the committee and those that have been part of it, especially on Lisi, Zio, is that the legacy is us being able to have a legacy, what we want to be remembered by. You know what I mean? And no, we are humble people. We don't toot our own horns and everything, but I think it's time that we do as us as a committee and saying, you know, we are leaving something behind and we are grooming and growing women, right, to take over from where we are. So for me and a leader of mindset, this, if I haven't made you better than me, I haven't done my job. And if we don't make this better than what we had it, we haven't done our job. So I want to say that, you know, leaving that legacy behind to make things better and put our girls in a better position and have more than what we have when we play.
Yeah. Well, I would like to just elaborate a little bit more on what Juggler said, and thank you very much for being the leaders you are and helping to guide this project, which is very, very important and vital for us in sport, not just for the females, but everyone in sports, because it offers another opportunity, not just on the field, but as been explained here, administration. There's so many other ways to progress in the sport of football, and we want to thank you very much for being that light and guiding this through. And hopefully in May, when the whistle blows, we have women's football. There's a lot of smiles on especially you guys' faces in the committee, that at least now we've got something to grow on, and we continue to grow, and it gets the support it's desperately needed to make sure it continues for a long time, to make sure that Coach Keeler has some other numbers to pick from.
Hey, Earl, they forgot to tell you the most important game is the walking game. That's us. That's the one you could play in. Jace, you're going to have to coach.
Listen. I heard they were having walking football at Bermuda College.
We have that.
I think there one day, and these little fellas, they were walking because they're still competitive. As much as they wanted to,
our knees don't work too. We don't have a choice.
They were trying. I said, I can't do that. I'm too competitive.
Yeah.
Earl, our knees don't work no more. We can't run. We're gonna walk. There's no options here. No. Run is not an option, buddy.
And, I know Phoenix is not got enough Bengay left on the shelf to last 3 weeks.
Hey, new age, Madison. We don't use Bengay no more. What new age? No Bengay. But Giggles is playing up top, so she can use the ball what she wants. She's playing up top. I'm putting her back to her beginning days. She's getting back striker.
That's right.
Her beginning days was only track.
That's what you think.
People that.
She
thank you very much, and you all have a good night. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good night, guys.
Nice night, guys. Thanks.
Night. Ooh.